Australian Championship.
Shot up the post and in. Continue to make history.
This rivalry burns as bright as ever.
That is spectacular. It's incredible. Fairy tale.
Good afternoon, everybody, on a very sunny Sunday in Sydney. Christie Park, the venue for this round 2 encounter in the Australian Championship, live on SBS On Demand and the Football Australia YouTube channel. Spirit FC hosting Avondale in round 2 of Group C action. Terrific to have your company across the screens this afternoon. My name is Alex Molchanoff. 26 degrees greeting us in Sydney, just dropping slightly as we get into the afternoon. Christie Park, which has affectionately become known as the Arctic Circle, not living up to the name so much in October. What a game we've got on the cards for you. The champions, or premiers I should say, in New South Wales against the premiers in Victoria from 2025. It's a hotly anticipated clash, and the results from earlier today make it just that bit more interesting. Avondale sitting top of the group coming in, but Canberra, Croatia now behind them after their surprise come from behind victory against Preston Lions by 3-2. Spirit could move top with a win of their own today. All just about in readiness. Big occasion back on home turf for Spirit FC, who overcame the odds and their opposition to finish top of the New South Wales League table after 30 rounds. Avondale seeing off the season-long chase from Heidelberg. You can tell us which of the premiers you think will win today. Just scan the QR code that's on your screen now, or head to australianchampionship.com.au, and the game day tab will take you where you need to go to have your say amongst the action this afternoon. Artificial turf will be a different test for Avondale, something they're not as used to, something more common in New South Wales. One of many factors that will come into play across the 90 minutes before us. Special day for Spirit, one they've been building to on home turf. Very strong performance down at Preston last weekend. 3 straight home games for them over the next 3 weeks to show their wares in this new era of national Australian football. And let's have a look at how they'll try and do it. Just the one change from that team that stole a point from Preston last weekend, and it's to welcome back Premiership hero Michael Conestabile. We'll start behind new signing Kai Denton up front. Denton was the Golden Boot winner in League 1 of New South Wales competition this season. Behind him, the sturdy backline of Nicholas Pachevsky and the club legend and skipper Grant Cornwall will be relied upon heavily, facing what was the best attack in Victoria this season. And what a name to have leading the line for Avondale. Bruno Fornaroli, scorer of 112 goals in his 214 A-League games, leading the line after opening his Avondale account with their first goal of the new era last weekend. The only change from that 3-1 win over Canberra, Croatia, is South Sudanese under-20 international Mayan, who replaces regular number 1 Thomas Manos. He's only fit enough for the bench. Impacts from there can be expected from George Ott and former Spirit player Zach Cianci, who both found the back of the net on the opening weekend as well. Jock Quartermain is our referee. He took control of that game between Spirit and Preston last weekend. It's also been a good luck charm for Avondale in the past. He took control of their round of 16 win in the Australia Cup against Apia earlier in the year. So here we go, a battle between the New South Wales and Victorian premiers. Much anticipated matchup, so many similarities, not least that both are under new leadership since the end of the season. Jonathan Germano, well known to A-League fans for his time in Melbourne City as a teammate of Fornaroli, takes charge of just his second game after getting all 3 points on the opening day. For Spirit FC, Luca Falcone, the assistant to David Perkovic over the regular season, is now the man in the hot seat. was happy to take a point with one of those typical last-minute goals for Spirit FC. Scored 6 of them to claim a point or a win over the course of the New South Wales season. So Takumi Ifuka was another of the much vaunted front three that included he, Konestabo, and the now departed Iwakubo over the football to get us started. Spirit in the yellow and black of the Gladesville Hornsby Association, which they represent. Avondale in their all-white away kits, and we are underway. Both these teams, underdogs, have been fighting against the might of history in their ascension up their respective state leagues right to the top of the tree. Both very much believing they can claim a second piece of silverware in 2025, who will throw themselves to the top of the Group C with a win today. The next 90 minutes hold the answer. Delighted to have your company wherever you are tuning in from across Australia or indeed the world. Should have very entertaining fare coming your way over the next 2 hours or so. The teams have undergone somewhat of a reformation rather than a transformation between the end of their regular seasons and the beginning of this Australian Championship. Avondale certainly have the bigger names, not least in the form of Fornaroli. They've gone through some of the lower leagues in Victoria to fill out their squad. Spirit similarly, with Kai Denton starting up front. Ethan De Bono, who was starting last weekend, part of a very successful Newcastle Jets Academy team earlier in the year down in League One. And Aidan Mostofi making his first intervention defensively, starting at left full back today. He's been away in Germany most recently after making his name in New South Wales football with St George City a couple of seasons ago. And there are plenty who've passed through A-League academies over their footballing journeys. You can see for Avondale, the outlet will be much watched, much vaunted 7-cap Socceroo. Uruguayan-born Fornaroli, his story well told. Through the Nacional Academy in his native Uruguay. He, of course, became very good friends with Juan Luis Suarez. Here's a chance for Andre Takami, who boasts a very impressive record we'll tell you about in a second as Wigan cuts that ball to the top of the box. Ifuka looks to measure one, and the first chance of the afternoon went Mostofi's way. Just couldn't keep his headed effort on target. But if that doesn't show you what Spirit's intent is, both fullbacks pushing high up the pitch. Saw them have to stay in their shape a little more disciplined manner against Preston last weekend, playing with less of the football. Want to be on the front foot early here. Not been worried by the stature of opposition they've taken on really since their promotion to the top tier of New South Wales football. After the 2022 season, they won New South Wales' Waratah Cup in that campaign, became the first team from outside the top tier to do so. Competition dating back to the 1950s. The question was over the coach, with David Perkovic revealing that he was stepping away to sign on with Sutherland Sharks. Still the bulk of the squad that he's put together over his just shy of a decade at the club. New era for Avondale as well. Zora Markowski taking them to so much success during his tenure. Bit of a surprise change, few eyebrows raised when it was announced he'd be departing before the championship. This team now under the charge of Germano, who's been in and around the club since signing as a player back in 2016. This is his first senior role though, as a head coach. Started swimmingly last weekend, unable to get the breakthrough in the first half, but played like they are now on the front foot That's that Canberra, Croatia side at Avenger Park. Jock Quartermain taking a tumble, as Amir Abdullah did as well, cutting in off the right, and already a little bit of to and fro. Christian Trzeski's very keen to place the football. Grant Cornwall is someone we talked about in the pre-game. He's not shy of a challenge, the Spirit skipper. Just didn't quite get his timing right here. In fact, it was Connor Starbo tracking all the way back, who brought down Abdullah as he was looking to shoot. His argument that he got the ball, the referees that he went through Avondale's right winger to get there. So a first attacking opportunity from this set piece. So a couple well struck over the early weekend. Sean Simmons scored a beauty for West Sapia against Sydney United on Friday night. Who will be entrusted? It's a three-man committee over the football. Sian Cuba is there, as well as Abdullah, who won the free kick. Looks to be the left-footed option. 4 in the wall for Chris Marks. He's been with Spirit since their promotion. Facing his first test today. And it is Abdullah making the move and striking beautifully. It hits the stanchion. Just sneaking the wrong side of Chris Marks' left-hand post. Both teams trying to play proactively with the football in the opening stages. Both knowing a result today. 3 points could take them to the top of very early looking Group C table. First touch for Mayan Mayan. Started a couple of games during Avondale's premiership campaign. Manos has very much been first choice. A test for the 22-year-old goalkeeper. Spirit looking to be proactive with their press as well, put Avondale under some pressure. Bryce playing the ball forward. Put it further on by Emlyn Wellsmore. He's got attacking chops of his own. Close viewers of the Australia Cup will remember his strike against Sydney FC when he was playing for Oakley last year. Matty Reid and Aidan Bryce have anchored what has been a very sturdy Avondale defence for the majority of the season. Supposed to spend a little bit of time out with injury across the year. Germano certainly is happy to have his first choice pairing back together for the start of this championship as Connor Starbo, who was late returning from his off-season. The only reason he was left out of their starting lineup against Preston. They're delighted to have him back. Missed their preliminary final defeat to Rockdale in New South Wales through a very unfortunate suspension. Soft yellow card towards the end of their final day clash against Mount Druitt Town Rangers. Saw him taken out of the lineup that day. Gorgeous ball from Kavanagh, which has released Wigan. Won't find too many quicker across the Australian Championship. How's his delivery? To Fuka, top of the box. Gonna weave his magic. He returns the ball to Wigan. Ball hung up again. I think it was Mustafi again. Climbing at the back post. A few harsh words for himself. Neither was a straightforward opportunity. They're almost carbon copies of one another. Fuka making his presence known early. And if Wigan can continue to get into those attacking areas. Blake Carpenter, Avondale's left back, is in for a long afternoon. Connor Starbo looking to feed Denton. He's got the wrong side of the defence. Touch took him wide. Wigan, bit of a wild effort. And deflection off the thigh of Wellsmore. Made an easy take for Mayan. Spirit, who have edged the opening stages of this one, back on home turf. Field they know so well, one which was so difficult for opposition teams to come and claim anything from over the entirety of the season. Fuka was looking to play that ball back inside. Avondale really struggling to get out of their own half at the moment. This is not a situation they're particularly used to. Team that like to control play. Their up-tempo style. They've been put on the back foot early here. Nicholas, ever present for Spirit this year, didn't miss a game. In the MPL, Mustafi. In fact, it was Kavanagh trying to batter his way through. First touch for Matthew Towns, the Avondale all-time appearance leader. Took on that mantle a couple of seasons ago. Quite been there as long as Cornwall's been at Spirit, but he has writ his name large with those couple of premierships across his time with Avondale in the heart of their midfield. Looking for our first clear-cut opportunity of the afternoon. Cornwall. To Mustafi. A note with Spirit as well. Showed you the lineups before the game. They begin in a back four, but it very much becomes back three with two wing-backs pushing high when they're in possession. Seen Mustafi get forward into attacking areas a couple of times already. Nicholas will push forward down the left, looking to provide his very willing service. Provide a different look to a lot of teams across the National Premier Leagues around the country. Different challenge for Avondale. It does leave them exposed in transition moments like this occasionally though. Good tracking back from Andre Takami. Mustafi. Battling for it with Wellsborough and clever enough to win his sides a throw. Healthy crowd in at Christie Park. Another big occasion. They've had so many of them over the past year or so. Great to see the North Sydney community getting back around this football team. So a chance for Avondale to attack. Touch wide from Fornaroli to feed Abdullah. Spirit Brands is taken on by Bladesville Hornsby Association after the breakdown of the old Northern Spirit in the NSL. Name really the only thing linking those two organisations, but certainly a sense of familiarity about them for Australian football fans as he lines up from distance there. Avondale forcing marks into a first save of the afternoon. Tavir keeps the attack alive. Deep ball looking for Cuba at the back post. Avondale making use of the ball when they are getting into their attacking half. Now there's some defending to do for the hosts. Game started with a good tempo. Both teams looking to be attacking and aggressive. Shevsky, I think it was clearing at his front post, and now Afuka might be away. Well-timed challenge from Towns. That's the leadership he brings, screening in front of his defence. Again with the hands of Trzeski all over it. Tavir rather all over him. Kavanagh. Well defended by Carpenter. Stepped up to sting the palms of Marks just a moment or so ago. Mentioned the attacking threat of Ollie Wigan. Carpenter might go about making him do his own fair share of defending to keep him a little bit quieter than usual. Looking forward to that battle down the near side. Two of the preeminent performers across their respective competitions during the 2025 season. Connor Starbo is losing the touch initially and ran into Towns. Heavy touch from Bryce as well, though, which has allowed Wigan to win back possession for Spirit FC. It's been some journey through the leagues for the hosts. Cornwall just getting himself stuck with the football. And a little from Tavares to find Fornaroli in the attacking position. And Carpenter had pushed up so Wigan can attack the space. Good piece of recovering work from Blake Carpenter. And then turns the ball over again. Wigan. Couldn't pick out a Fuka who's run a little bit higher. So maybe it's starting to affect some of the players already. Steven Cuba didn't look too keen to take that ball on in counter-attack. Trajeski. Nice interplay from Avondale. This is when they're at their best. Wellsmore making his way forward, does enough to force Nicholas into a sliding clearance. A couple of suggestions, he didn't get a touch. Certainly looked as though he did from our vantage point. Jonathan Germano, straight up off his bench, barking instructions at his team. Can be encouraged by the response they had to having to absorb a lot of pressure in the very early stages of this one. Referee Quartermain finds a foul in there. Nice stepping out of his defensive position. I'm not sure whether it was he or Towns that actually committed the foul. Either way, Spirit get a pressure relieving free kick. Mentioned the similarities in the pre-game between these two. Both made rapid rises through the leagues. We'll see our fan poll, which is being conducted at the moment, australianchampionship.com.au. We'll have your say on that. Connor Starbo. Picked Wigan out. He was off balance as he played the ball. Even the fancy footwork of the Spirit right winger. Might keep the ball in play. Avondale's sent through Victorian leagues was rapid to say the least. 5 promotions in 6 seasons between 2009 and 2014. The move to Avenger Park back in 2018, which has given them a permanent home, in which oppositions fear going to. Doherty Cup win back in 2021, their first major piece of silverware. Tafia's been very keen not to let Connor Starbo get too far from him. Spirit's number 10 seemingly pretty high on the tip sheets for the Avondale midfield today. There's a QR code as well. Get involved with that vote across the afternoon. Avondale holding heavy favouritism, according to you watching on at home. Rightly so. And the record against New South Wales opposition in the past. Most recently, that win over Apia Leichhardt in the Australia Cup this year. Also beat Marconi in that competition back in 2018 in the round of 32. Convincing win that night by 4-0. It's been no holds barred to start to this one from both teams, an underlying physicality. Both know what an opportunity sits for them today. Especially with Canberra, Croatia getting the 3-2 win over Preston earlier today in this group. It's changed its complexion somewhat. Most watchers expected it would be one of Spirit, Preston or Avondale to miss out on progression to the quarterfinals. Top two going through after our 6 group games, home and away. Canberra have showed that they're not going to be walkovers in this group whatsoever, with a stout defensive performance in the first half against Avondale last weekend, and now getting the victory. Goals for them are plenty across the 2 games as well. No shrinking violets out of the Capital Football National Premier League's competition. Historic win, the competition's first on the national stage. That ball came into the box. I think Maya got a hand to it. Might have deflected off his own defender, Matty Reid, and behind. Danger down the right again. Wigan using his ball-playing ability this time to feed corner Starbo. Indeed, it was Reid who got the final touch before it went behind. By Denton, you can see appealing for the handball. He's taking a lone case to court in that situation. To settle for a corner, something Spirit have been pretty proficient at across the season as well. This one's too deep for anyone wearing yellow or white. Kavanagh keeps the attack alive. Afuka with a second bite. Mayan only able to punch. Cornwall. Very important block again from Reid. Not a regular goal scorer by any stretch of the imagination. Grant Cornwall managed to get one earlier in the season. Now Avondale coming down the other way. Cuba. Well played by Marks. Tidy piece of goalkeeping. And that has what has made this opening quarter of the game so entertaining. Both teams have been pegged back in their own half, looking for an outlet, looking to get upfield quickly. Denton, someone with that capability with his pace. Afuka, gorgeous turn. You heard the oohs and ahs from the crowd. Takumi Afuka. Good piece of recovering defence from Wellsmore. Second touch after the little rollover of the ball with his foot from Afuka. Just allowing the Avondale defender to get back and recover. Such an astute signing at the start of the year, Takumi Afuka for Spirit FC. Made his name with the Wollongong Wolves via the Illawarra Premier League. Double-digit scorer in New South Wales League football over the last 3 seasons. Quite able to get his first of the Australian Championship. Abdullah is looking for one down the other end for Avondale. Stoffy blocked the initial pass and then he only found the feet of Cornwall. And the return to Abdullah didn't find the mark. In fact, it was Fornaroli who'd wheeled away wide. It's Jamie Paszewski, the heart of the Spirit defence. Picked up to replace Ante Bakmaj. Ended his storied career last season. Bounced around a couple of places, including down in Victoria with Preston during their ascent up the Victorian Pyramid. Avondale just starting to see more of the ball than they did in the initial 10 minutes of this game. Just turning the tide of possession slightly. To create a clear-cut opportunity for Fornaroli or one of his supporting cast. Bryce. Wonder how much the artificial surface is just affecting Avondale's ability with the ball at their feet. Seeing that ball, particularly on a hot day like today, will just hold up in the artificial turf a little more than it would on the natural grass. Just for Towns to step out of midfield here. Cuba. Missing the mark with that last pass into towards their attacking players. Story of this opening half for both teams, really. See Luca Falcone shot there, just appealing for the throw-in right in front of him. Decision goes against him. Or in fact, went in Spirit's favour. They've turned it straight over from the throw, though. And Tavere's managed to win his side a free kick. Andre Takami just getting a little bit too close and comfortable with his midfield opponent. Even Towns, usually so calm and cool with his distribution. He's finding a little bit of an error as that ball came to him. Nothing disastrous, but it's just forced Avondale to rebuild this attack. So the pressure of Spirit that Avondale do get over halfway as well has been suffocating. There's a light breeze blowing across Christie Park, but I think it'll be cooling the players down too much. This time it's Reed stepping forwards. Perhaps a little bit of a get even on Takami, although this challenge on Tavere certainly didn't come with the same brute force. Takami has been one of the first names on the Spirit team sheet since signing in mid-season. Clattered into the back of by Reed. Off the ball there. Has a remarkable record since signing for the club, having not lost a game, Andre Takami. Missed out on that preliminary final. They fell to Rockdale Illington. Avondale, funnily enough, fell at the same hurdle in the Victorian competition, going down to Dandenong City. Brought to an end what had been a very impressive run of form heading into the finals under Zoran Markovski. 12 games unbeaten heading into the playoffs, including a win over Heidelberg with 3 rounds to go that essentially handed them the premiership. Dramatic fair that day, fantastic scenes across Avenger Park. Hoping to replicate some of them over the next month or so. Good crowded attendance for their opening game against Cranbrook, Croatia. Forward as well, without wanting to take attention away from this to their visit to Preston next weekend. Cuba has sprung past Cornwall. Really didn't get too much venom behind that strike. Ball running away from him a touch more than he would have liked. Marks claiming gratefully at his near post without too much of a test. Avondale leading the shot count now, but not able to quite make the breakthrough as of yet. Have grown into this opening half hour though. Carpenter, forward from left full back. He's fired one shot in anger. Can he play provider here? As he faces up Cornwall, good enough to win a corner. To say, there's been a similarity in the way both these teams are set up to play today as well. See Cuba's efforts favours that right foot, opted to go with the inside rather than stick the laces through it. Now delivering the corner. Initial cross dealt with by Spirit defence pretty comfortably. Haven't conceded too many from set pieces. They were undone by a couple against Marconi in the middle of the year. So Stallions look to unseat them from the top of the table. Handed them their first loss at Christie Park of the season. This ball in behind, and just sense that Trzeski might have stepped too early. Assistant on the far side, James Sherry, agreed with that assessment. He's a player of some pedigree as well, Christian Trzeski. Went through the Hume City system as a junior. Proficient over the dead ball. Spent some time over in Portugal during his younger years as well. More bundling over Connor Sabo, who's certainly got himself to the top of the most fouled counts in the opening half hour. Just waiting for a moment to really break this game open. Both teams have shown intent going forward without throwing caution to the wind. Pressure for Mayan, that ball just skipping up after his first touch. De Veer. Carpenter. All-time challenge from Pashevsky. That's what he's made his name on, stepping out of the defensive line to win the ball back for Spirit. It might have launched a counter through Connor Stavo, who turns his man and forces a good diving save from Mayan. Wellsmore caught by the little shimmy of the hips from Conestabo, and that's the threat he offers. Talk about those who've been through A-League Academy systems. He wasn't one of those. A late bloomer, Michael Conestabo. Picked up from the Rydalmere Lions down in the New South Wales 2nd Division by David Perkovic. After the COVID pandemic, he's been one of the first names on the team sheets for Spirit FC ever since. Part of their promotion campaign back in 2022. Still holds the key at the heart of their attack so often. Cuba. Moving nicely for Avondale. This is where they feel they're most likely to break Spirit down. Nicholas calm and cool and coming across to cut off Trzeski's run forward. Dollar turning over the football. Kavanagh clever enough to win the free kick. Conestabo, an evidence of smart Spirit recruitment. Kavanagh very much homegrown. Standouts in the younger age groups. He's been used as a fullback, but at different times at the start of his career, very much the midfield marshal now. He's worn the captain's armband when Grant Cornwall has been absent over different stages this season. Conestabo handing out a foul of his own. Towns. De Veer. His team a free kick this time. John Quartermain's been pretty consistent. Not any shirt tugging or contact that's unnecessary. The upper body has been blown up very swiftly. Players have not made the adjustment to this point. Sorry, that shot De Veer was offering for something short, but Wellsmore's waved him away. So get in the mixer, son. Spirit will hold the high line that is their usual from these set pieces, giving Marks plenty of room. Didn't need it that time. Ball fired too close to him. Is it going to be a moment of magic or a mistake that leads to the opening goal of this game? Intensity, the opening stages has gone out of the game somewhat, although we have seen a lot of ball in play, a lot of midfield scraps like this, and then both teams shooting forward when they have managed to win the ball. The Spirit do through Wigan here. One-on-one with Carpenter. Again up to the back post. This time Mustafi wasn't crashing, he was a couple of steps late. Abdallah looking to exploit that space. Tavir has it nicked off him by Pashevsky. Good solid challenge from Towns as well. Game starting to open up a little bit as we get towards the shadows of halftime. Cuba. Tavir, the willing runner. Wrangles the ball before it trickled over the byline. Dummies sent Cornwall the wrong way. Oh, the Spirit captain able to clear. Avondale wanted the free kick for the challenge on Tavir. Pretty clean from Wigan though. Ball in hope more than anticipation forward from Spirit. It's just being a little bit looser than they were at the start of the game with their play out from the defensive half. Denton's not seen too many balls of real quality played through to him. Say the same of Fornaroli down the other end, of course. As close as he's come to the football in the last 10 or 15 minutes. Watch as Marks take it in front of him. Carpenter stepping up to put the pressure on Wigan. Really, since that initial 10-minute period when Spirit were really piling on the pressure, Avondale have had the better of this first half without creating a clear-cut opportunity. Here's the captain, Aidan Bryce. Player of the month in NPL Victoria in July. His defensive partner, Reid, has turned that ball over. Denton trying to use his pace. Ball in just behind Conestabo. There's no one following up. A long season for these two teams as well. Started their pre-seasons back in November of 2024. Quick mid-season break. It was a terrific story after they won the premiership, and Heidelberg had continued their run into the deep stages of the Australia Cup. That a number of the Avondale squads bought up the tickets Heidelberg had booked to Las Vegas. Enjoyed a little bit of a end of season, pre-season from an Australian Championship perspective. Trip over to the United States. They've been rested up a little, but these guys who are semi-professionals, it has been a long and very successful campaign for both of them. Avondale, one of the establishment clubs, always knew they were going to be part of this Australian Championship, but Spirit had to work all the way to the end, holding off Rockdale, who were their closest challenger outside the foundation clubs in New South Wales. Watchful opening half from both of the two combatants to this point. Conestabo, gorgeous first touch. Now looking to release Kai Denton. Face to face with Reid and goes for goal. Sharp save again from Mayan. It's a couple of times he's been called into action down to his right. Denton Afuka. There's too many white shirts in front of him in the end. And now Fornaroli could be away. How fresh are those 38-year-old legs? How wily is that 38-year-old mind? Dancing feet, couldn't beat Nicholas. Tavir picking up the scraps. He's just stayed down for a moment as well, Bruno Fornaroli. We'll keep an eye on him. We want to be back to his feet and in goal-scoring position. Tavir couldn't find him. Mark springing off his line to claim the low cross. Tell you what, you'll watch worse scoreless first halves. Quality of play from both teams has been quite strong, particularly their final thirds. Battling against the defensive structures. So this little bit of skill from Fornaroli as he went head-to-head with Simon Nicholas. One of the beauties of this Australian Championship. A big signing against the ultra-reliable Spirit defender. This has been the case for the entirety of this first half so far. Defence winning out over attack. Good performance in goal so far as well from the Avondale goalkeeper, Mayan. Thomas Manos only on the bench today. And they're carrying two goalkeepers in their squad, Avondale, funnily enough, so I think very much that Manos will only be called on in an absolute emergency. As we'll turn to the benches as we approach half-time and past the break as well. Plenty of game-breaking ability on both. George Ott and Zach Chianchi were mentioned in the pre-game scoring last week off the bench. Chianchi in very familiar surrounds. Spent a campaign here last season. Scored 8 goals across his 21 starts. That's for Spirit if they go that way. Aidan Kyra making his way back to the top tier of New South Wales football, Australian football indeed. Spending the season in League One with Blacktown Spartans. Ethan De Bono started last weekend. Caleb Jackson-Brown, who got the late equaliser. Very astute pickup from the relegated Mount Druitt Town Rangers. Young Charlie Broomhead as well is there for Spirit if they need him, the 17-year-old. Jake Chidiak, who's one of the most popular figures around Macquarie Park, there's no doubt about that. Big character. Carpenter watchful as that ball was fired across to his flank. Avondale, who've edged possession in this first half, but not been able to create a clear-cut opportunity for Bruno Fornaroli. He's one stretch of the legs 5 minutes or so ago. Be encouraged by the fact this is following a very similar storyline to their opening game against Canberra, Croatia. They ran out 3-1 winners. Different situation without wanting to be disrespectful to Capital football side. I'd say slightly stronger opposition today as well. Clash between the New South Wales and Victorian premiers has been just as evenly matched as we expected. Fornaroli getting a touch, but only able to poke the ball backwards. And Aidan Bryce, despite his best efforts, couldn't keep the ball in play. Bryce in his second season with Avondale, signing from the Melbourne Knights at the start of last season. 29-year-old who has become a very familiar face down in the NPL in Victoria. Stoffy hanging that one up in the air. You see perhaps a little bit just how the wind took some of the sting out of that cross as well. Breeze blowing from our commentary position across the field. It's from that far touchline. They're just going to hold up a little more than would usually be the case. Only for both coaches to ponder, both new coaches, Luca Falcone and Jonathan Germano, to ponder. Fourth official, Brooklyn Fawcett, tells us there'll be just the one added minute at the end of the first half. Time for some players to do some cooling off. Once more. Difficult skill that Tavir was trying to pull off there, hitting the ball while he was still on the half turn. It's going to have to be a bit of magic like that to unpick this very well set Spirit defence, you feel. Maybe they'll get one last crack at it here, Avondale. Abdallah, prominent early, drifted out of the game a little since. That's a very good ball though. And how on earth has Fornaroli not put that on target? He's got a penalty kick for his troubles. Well, this will be a talking point, no doubt, right in the shadows of half-time. Fornaroli getting himself in a goal-scoring position and just eased out of the contest for the ball. Get a better look at it on the replay. Gorgeous ball from Abdallah, cutting in on that left foot. And Cornwall, I think, just helping him off the ball. Not a whole lot of contact, but enough for Jock Quartermain to point to the spot. And now the man Spirit had done so well to keep out of the action. His presence enough to draw the error. Can he convert the resulting spot kick? For 2 in 2 weeks to start his Avondale career. Fornaroli, and Mark's got a strong hand to it, but he palms it into the top corner. Enough power on the penalty, and it is 2 in 2 for Fornaroli. Perhaps some fortune around the award of the penalty, but Avondale had pressed and pressed, and will feel they deserve that lead. Beautifully struck, and Marks did well to guess the right way, but not strong enough to push it round the post. The new recruit, very much an old superstar in Australian football, but one the Avondale fans are growing to love very, very quickly in this Australian Championship. And it was Abdullah's ball that undid the Spirit defence, really, right in the shadows of half-time. They'll feel hard done by the hosts, but they probably invited a little more pressure than they would have liked towards the closing stages of the opening 45 minutes. Made to pay by who else but Fornaroli. And so as we head to the break at Christie Park, after a very even first 45 minutes, it is Spirit FC 0, Avondale FC 1.
They're the breakout success story representing football's future. Northwest Sydney Spirit aren't just some flash in the pan. It's been a 2-decade rise to the top of men's football in New South Wales. Some have attributed the spirit of a bygone era to this club. But this is an institution from the grassroots, teaching players and coaches how to build something for the long term. The honour roll is short, but it's all recent. Waratah Cup winners in 2022, promoted in the same year.
The team from the second tier create history and become the 15th team to win the Waratah Cup.
Australia Cup national rounds for a second time in 2024. And now, Premiers of New South Wales.
Party time at Christie Park.
Spirit are stepping onto the national stage again to build their budding resume in the Australian Championship.
Football's back home. It'll be great to be on SBS again.
It's going to definitely give the Australian Championship a massive, massive platform.
You're not just showcasing yourself on YouTube or anything anymore. It's SBS, it's massive.
It's great that it's going to be live free there. It's great exposure.
Every player want to be in TV, and I think that's really good for the people in Australia.
Now I can tell all my siblings I just tell them to turn on SBS and watch me there.
It's the best thing to happen to football in Australia in a very long time.
It's integral to all these clubs and fans and players to have the games broadcasted live.
That's where you want to be on free-to-air. It's SBS. Everyone watches it.
To have football back on, I guess, the main stage of where it all started, it's exciting. It's a great opportunity for the whole of Australia to watch.
You never know what's going to happen.
We just hope that we can do this code proud.
For every football lover in Australia, you know, when you hear the SBS, you think about football.
I grew up with watching the World Game on SBS.
On a Sunday from first thing in the morning. All day football.
I was an avid follower of the Captain Socceroo, Johnny Warren.
Craig Foster. Yeah, Les Murray days, you can't forget it.
All the iconic moments in football have been on SBS.
SBS was the home of football, so it's great that we're back there.
Welcome back to Christie Park. A quick look at some of the first half highlights after a game that looked as though it was headed to the break. Scoreless before Avondale claimed the lead right in the shadows of half-time. It was Spirit who started the brighter, and Mustafi with a pair of headed opportunities like that. The first one you saw there headed wide before a good save, well, almost a good save, needing to be forced by Chris Marks. Abdullah's free kick just bent wide of the Spirit shot stopper. There's a second opportunity for Mustafi. The left back has been getting himself into some good scoring positions. Avondale's left back as well, firing in from long range during the first half. Blake Carpenter's been entrusted with doing a lot of defending against Ollie Wigan. His ball for Michael Conestabo opened the door again for the hosts. This time it was Mayan and Reid coming together to prevent the ball reaching Kai Denton. Again, the South Sudanese under-20 international has had his fair share of work in this first half, coming in for Thomas Manos today. He's done a pretty tidy job of it. Avondale's opportunities on the break continued to come. Weren't able to unpick the lock until this ball from Abdullah, which drew a shove from Grant Cornwell, a penalty appeal from Bruno Fornaroli, and a very well struck resulting effort from 11 metres rather, which the Spirit keeper did very well to get a hand to, not able to keep it from ending up in the back of the net. 2-2 for Altuna. And a bright start to his Avondale FC career. What a signing for the Australian Championship. He's been the difference maker for them in their opening two fixtures. Despite the fact he didn't see too much of the ball in open play. The Apart from that strike, it has been very even, as the stats tell you there. 7 shots to 6 in Spirit's favour. Avondale being a little more accurate with their efforts. Just a few set pieces each. And a foul count which grew very quickly early and just faded out a little bit as we got towards the end of the first half. Jock Quartermain not been forced to go to his pocket at all yet. He's done well to manage a game which has had an undercurrent of physicality to it on a bright sunny Sunday in the north of Sydney. Go through a couple of the results from earlier in the weekend. Get the highlights here from West Sarpia's 4-0 win over Sydney United 58 to kick off the round at Leichhardt Oval in front of a very healthy crowd of more than 4,500 in the heart of Sydney's inner west. Braden Kelly, who scored in the grand final, getting on the score sheet again for a couple of goals in the final series, and then you won't see too many sweeter strikes, too many better left pegs than that of Sean Simmons, which has been doing the damage in New South Wales football for nigh on a decade. Damien Sekenis was the hat-trick hero yesterday for Marconi, playing under Father Peter. His first campaign back with the Stallions, where he spent so much of his junior career. Treble of goals for him. Won't get too many simpler than that second one. Played on for him by a combination of Will Akio, who's made a bright start to his Marconi career, and the ever-present Marko Jesic. Sekenis is third. Again, not the tidiest, but he's got a nose for goal and kept taking up goal-scoring positions yesterday. In the 3 o'clock kickoff, Heidelberg getting a 3-0 win over Wollongong in the Wolves' first home game back at Collegian Sports Centre. But the Australia Cup finalists put on a very professional display indeed, taking the lead through Jamal Ali before half-time. Anthony Lesiotis crashing one through the crowd to double their advantage just after the break. And then the cherry on top to make it 3-0 and send them to the top of a very early Group B. The rest of the results we've seen over the course of the weekend. Earlier today, Broadmeadow Magic scoring the upset against Sydney Olympic by 3-2 at Jubilee Stadium, and leaving Olympic with an uphill battle to get out of that group now. In this Group C, Canberra, Croatia at Deakin Stadium getting a 3-2 win over Preston Lions, coming from a goal down twice to claim the victory there in a dramatic finish, which has taken them right into contention for qualification for the quarterfinals. Top 2 making their way through. Avondale sitting top of the group. They'll move to 6 points and be 3 clear of Canberra, Croatia if they can hold on to this lead here against Spirit. Those are the 2 concurrent games you can find via SBS On Demand or via the Football Australia YouTube channel. Both scoreless at the break between Bayswater City and Metro Stars, as well as South Melbourne and Moreton City Excelsior. Well, second half coming up from Christie Park. We'll be back with you in just a moment.
Has any club climbed further, faster than Avondale FC? No one knew their name 15 years ago, but a bold plan to climb the leagues earned 5 promotions in just 6 seasons. Playing out of Melbourne's northwestern suburbs, from Doyle Street Reserve to Avenger Park. The higher Avondale climbed, the bigger the names that came through the door. And for the first time, they made their mark on the national stage.
Liam Boland, the cup specialist, strikes again.
And those big name players produced even bigger moments.
He's done it! He's done it! Avondale have won it!
All the way to the top of Victorian football, from the 6th tier to state champions in just 14 years. Now, Avondale FC are ready to take on the nation in the Australian Championship.
underway from Christie Park. Avondale going into the sheds, leading by a 1-0. A 3rd minute of injury time penalty to Bruno Fornaroli, his second in 2 games for Avondale FC, giving them the advantage at the break. Spirit will feel hard done by. They were right in that first half, created plenty of opportunities of their own, but not able to beat the fill-in goalkeeper Mayan for the Avengers. And so it's the visitors and Victorian football whose premiers lead over New South Wales iteration in 2025. What will the second half throw up? There was plenty of entertainment in the first without a glut of goal-scoring opportunities. Spirit will be forced to come out of their shape if they're not able to get an early equaliser here. No changes to either team at the break, staying with the status quo for the moment. Two teams we expected to be evenly matched. They've proven us black points over the opening half of this game. Who can spring on, keep their wits about them in the second half for longer. Delighted to bring you back to the north of Sydney, Macquarie Park, Christie Park, as it's affectionately known, home to Spirit FC. It's supposed to on the back foot very early here as Fornaroli looked to take that in his stride. Cornwall showing him the way to the byline. It was the former Socceroo, Uruguayan native, who's given his new team the lead for the second week in a row. So mate Jonathan Germano very happy with what he's seen from his former teammates out on the pitch in his 2-game stint. So they might have doubled their money here because Trajewski sprung the offside trap and finished off his dinner. Spirit caught cold straight after half-time. 2 goals in double quick time, either side of the break. And it was the dummy from Fornaroli that caused the misplay from Paszewski. Trajewski takes the applause. Not a bountiful goal scorer during the regular season, but wasn't about to turn up such a clear-cut opportunity as that. His first goal in this new Australian Championship. A new era for one of the more experienced heads in this Avondale side. Taking to it like a duck to water. And this game that looked so even, so on tenterhooks, has now fallen right in the Victorian Premier's favour. Can Spirit respond? Come from behind over different stages this season, but against such difficult opposition, I feel it will be a day to remember if they were able to from here. Avondale now with a comfortable lead. At times a dangerous one, certainly, but Luca Falcone has plenty to ponder. Not the start he would have liked for his team in the second half. So now a test of resilience as much as technical and tactical quality. Stoffy was so prominent early in this game. First time we've really seen him with the ball on the ground. Sticks it low into the box. Tidied up, at least initially, by Towns. Kavanagh has a second crack. There was no one attacking the ball at the back post. Not the cleanest clearance from Carpenter though. Takami with a heavy touch, which takes him over the byline into the photographers standing behind the goal. Be interesting just how quickly Coach Falcone goes to his bench now. Spirit created the majority of their opportunities early in the first half. Wind had gone out of their sails a little as we headed towards half-time. Second sucker punch has got them reeling now. Wellsmore. Been very tidy at right full back. Haven't been too many poor performances out there for Avondale today. It's been a gutsy performance as much as one of full fluency in attack. They've got the results on the scoreboard. When the two opportunities have fallen their way, they have taken them. Spirit might be able to generate one of their own through Connor Starbo. It was left by Afuka, hoping that Mustafi would be there. One of the new signings, perhaps just on a slightly different page to the winger starting today in front of him. See a look on his face. Oh, what an opportunity that might have just fallen his way. He's probably had more sights at goal than he was expecting. Starting at left full back today, Aidan Mustafi. Towns, cool as ever, even in the air. Trajeski, it can be even more buoyed by the goal, which has given Avondale this 2-0 lead. Chance here for Abdallah. His left foot and picked Spirits for the first. Goes with the right this time. See why he favours that left foot with that effort. Signing from Green Gully, where he had such a tremendous season at mid-table club, 10 goals. His return has been a starter for Avondale in both of their first 2 Australian Championship games. Right, Spirit, who are really looking affected at fan poll, showing a 75% of you think Avondale are going to win this game. I feel they're even heavier favourites now as Mustafi's brought down. And our first yellow card of the afternoon. Pointed in the direction of Emmeline Wellsmore. He's done a lot of attacking. He's just springing forwards a little higher to take part in that poll. Who you think will win? Scan the QR code on your screen now. Or you can head to australianchampionship.com.au. Flick open the game day tab and we'll take your thoughts on who will be the winners after 90 minutes. The winners of this game will move clear at the top of Group C. Pole position for qualification to the quarterfinals. Brilliant volley! Spectacular! And a route back into the game. Michael Conestabbo, on his return to the Spirit starting side, comes up with a big moment. As though he anticipated it. No chance for Mayan, who did everything he could. But Conestabbo's thunderbolt has provided Spirit an avenue back into this game. A bolt from the blue. Spirit, who struggled to really create clear-cut opportunities. Maybe they just needed a moment like that. You will not see too many purer strikes anywhere in world football than that one from Mikey Conestabbo. Something his opposing number 10 has come up with plenty of times in his career. Could only watch on and admire on that occasion. Can Avondale strike straight back and reclaim the 2-goal lead? Mustafi heading clear defensively. Abdallah. Wellsmore. Foot of Abdallah, this time not getting the cross quite deep enough. Just as Avondale were looking settled, were looking to solidify their advantage. They still might do so through Trajeski, whose goal is now the difference, thanks to the response from Conestabbo. And Avondale must be aware. Spirit have been kings of the late goal, matching the record of Andre Takami in the first half, yet to lose a game, starting in Spirit colours. He's gone to 12 matches. Corey Kavanagh's keen to keep it right intact, and they've got numbers here, the hosts. It's Afuka. Wide on the left. Touch took him backwards. Returns it to Kavanagh. Took the touch off Aiden Bryce, and that goal has buoyed Spirit FC somewhat. The game was hinting at this in the first half, but it has exploded at the start of the second. With vigour and verve and attacking opportunities down both ends. Last set piece was fruitful for Spirit. Can they go 2 from 2? One of their supporters that have finally found some voice. I can spot an Arncliffe Aurora top. Some headlines in New South Wales, their Australia Cup run. Didn't make it all the way to the national rounds, but off a couple of big names across the journey. Good to see the New South Wales football community out in force here at Christie Park. Hoping for a second as that one curls right onto the top of Lions' net. A couple of hearts in mouths, but the Avondale keeper was comfortable. It was always passing over his crossbar. We're just going to need a quick check on Jamie Paszewski. He's gone down. Might have just been a foot trodden on more than anything. He seems to have copped a fair bit of force. Ball was curled in from Mustafi. See if this gives us a better idea. Just in a little bit of a wrestle there with Bryce. He came together with him afterwards as well. All smiles. In fact, that's Matty Reid sharing the embrace with there. Quite smiling quite as widely now. See Luca Falcone passing on some instructions there to Ollie Wigan. Obvious replacement on the bench for Spirit, if this is the end of Paszewski's afternoon, is Kaya Williams, the 20-year-old centre-half. It's been a semi-regular starter for Spirit over the course of their NPL season. Just a moment to check on him, but it's actually Aidan Kyra who's being readied here. Attacking substitution perhaps for Luca Falcone. See Jeff McFadden, he's a long-time team manager. Glasses on his head, helping out there, as well as Gary Rafferty, the strength and conditioning coach. And he is going to make his entrance, so it is a very attacking change. Centre half removed, and Jamie Paszewski, whose afternoon is over, hopefully just a precautionary into that. And a strike partner for Kai Denton now. Keep a close eye on quite how that plays out. Certainly going to allow them to put a bit more pressure on Avondale in their defensive half. Mustafi's looked bright today. He's missing a bit of that end product, but he's been tireless in his work down the left. His first touch from Trzeski to get his side going forward. Heaved rather more agriculturally down the other end by Spirit. Carpenter's touch just falling short of Cuba. Cornwall's getting forward from right back now. Plays it back for Wigan. Ball took a deflection, and Avondale not going to be able to prevent the ball from trickling behind for a corner. Just growing in confidence, this Spirit side. Avondale look as though they've been caught cold a little by the response and by the lift in their opposition's level in the last 5 or 10 minutes. So the Christie Park crowd waits with bated breath for Mustafi's ball. In towards Kyra. It's Kaya Williams who has also joined us here. So perhaps he was the replacement for Paszewski. We'll get the identity of the Attacking player taken off for Cairo's introduction. Kaya Williams, who I mentioned, has actually made his way onto the field, so a double switch for Spirit. And now Kai Denton, who's moved out to the right-hand side. He's got this long throw in his locker, along with his attacking ability. Is it low in towards Kyra, lobbed back into a semi-dangerous area. Ryan saw it all the way. So staying in that back three for the minute with possession, Spirit FC. Duller just cutting that advancing pass out. That's a gorgeous ball forward, and Abdullah is in a dangerous position again, just marshalled off it nicely by Nicholas. You can hear the cries of the players out there through our effects mics. Half an hour to play. Avondale looking to hang on to the lead, given to them by Bruno Fornaroli before halftime from the penalty spot. Added to by Christian Trajeski just after halftime before Michael Conestabo gave Spirit a lifeline with a thumping volley. Can they add a second? Ball to the back post. Afuka's waiting. Prods it inside, great save initially, and Kyra's first touch is turned home. Spirit have come from 2 down to square the ledger. And it's the substitute with his first goal for the club. Right place, right time. And we're all square again. This game, which had promised goals, has delivered. Takami's initial shot parried straight into the path of the big number 7. 18 goals in League One this year in New South Wales, his first in the Australian Championship. And now the question is, how do Avondale respond? And Afuka's caught Wellsmore on it. They couldn't get a third in this 15-minute spell, could they? They have looked right on top in this second half. I won't go as far as saying stark contrast to the opening 45 minutes, but they've certainly looked up for the fight even after copping the second. And Avondale have gone away from that patient build-up that gave them the 2-goal lead. So substitution here and a familiar face around Christie Park. A return for Zach Scianchi. Luca Tavere, who has covered almost every blade of the artificial surface, sees his afternoon end after 63 minutes. Can he play hero on his return for a new club? Chachi, who is from Victoria, was a FC Bulleen junior. It's around a couple of clubs down in Victoria before making the single season move up to Spirit under David Perkovic. Actually signed for this championship from Bulleen, who played this year. Just the 3 goals, but got one on his Avondale debut last weekend. In and around things, and you can hear what the Spirit supporters thought of that. Takumi Afuka should have had a free kick in his favour. And now a bit of consternation about the exact location of the throw. Blake Carpenter is centimetre or two back. Well, storylines galore have grown out of this game in the last 20 minutes. Will we have even more before full time? And this time the whistle is blown as you see the picture-in-picture of the last decision. First booking for Avondale, and it goes to their star man, Bruno Fornaroli. He and Cornwall have been going back and forth for the entirety of this fixture. Welcome to the championship. Bruno, says the Spirit skipper. That was a popular yellow card around Christie Park, as you could hear as well. Kavanagh, he's not been afraid to have a crack in the second half. Almost can't tell which one is his favoured foot. His technique is so good with both. Didn't quite catch that as cleanly as he would have liked. Mustafi shrugs off the first challenge. Afuka's in a shooting position. Advantage paid by the referee because Spirit have still got an attack brewing here. Wiggins fast feet. Oh, gorgeous little touch from Takami. And finally Denton was almost allowed to fire. Flicked on by Denton. Spirit keeping this attack alive through sheer force of will in the initial stages before Trajeski ran away with it, coming together, and it's the man who initially had the football who's conceded the free kick. Kavanagh's so strong that if he does get in front of you, very, very difficult to get around him again, as Christian Trajeski found out just there. An inverse as to how the first half ended, with Avondale building pressure through possession, Spirit giving them a taste of their own medicine. This is when they were at their best in the New South Wales League season. High press, high intensity. More than tidy with the ball at their feet as well. Principles laid down by David Perkovic in his decade at the club, carried on by his former assistant, Luca Falcone. And the squad he had such a big part in building. Mustafi, one of the new additions who has taken to the system like a duck to water, and now another yellow card is out of referee Quartermain's pockets for Yitayu Towns, who had been doing such a tidy job of screening in front of his backline in the first half. The pressure has brought even he undone. Quarter of this game to go. It has built right to the perfect finish. Takami's ball, it's dangerous. Kyra was there again. This time couldn't get the telling flick on. Funnily enough, in Mayan's last start, this is exactly the scoreline in which the game finished. A 2-2 draw with St Albans back in June. The rare times Avondale weren't able to hold on to a lead this season, lost just 3 times in league football down in Victoria this year. Abdullah. Trajeski. Second goal gave Avondale a 2-0 lead. They've been pegged back since. Nice touch from Fornaroli. On to Cuba. Wide to Trajeski. Hoisted away by the retreating Mustafi. Still got George Ott on their bench if they need him. Scorer of 6 goals during the league season. Been one of the stars of this Avondale team through cup runs in the last couple of seasons. Scorer last weekend, Carpenter trying to take it on himself. A desperate lunge out at Spirit defender who'd come across in cover, Ollie Wigan. Those two coming together. This is all getting a little bit fiery, isn't it? Ollie Wigan less than impressed with the challenge which felled him there, particularly because the ball seemed to be a fair way out of play, and the yellow card comes for Blake Carpenter. They're totting up now for Avondale. Didn't have a single one shown in the first half. Now we've got 4. All the way of the visitors. There is well-known face around the A-Leagues. Damien De Silva has just returned to Australia, signing a contract with the MacArthur Bulls. Can expect to see plenty of him across the A-League season. Saw him start up in Brisbane on Friday night against the Roar. Not successful there, but expecting him to be part of a team that's touted to be towards the top of that table. Not sure quite who he's willing on in this game. Maybe his ex-teammate, Bruno Fornaroli. Seen him score a goal just before half-time. Ball's curled in. His defence are finding themselves under fire late in this second half as the sun sets over Christie Park. These two teams very much part of the new era of the Australian Championship. They have put on a battle for the ages today, particularly at the start of this second half. Plenty of quality, plenty of intensity. It's not always been one for the purists, but the fact that both teams have been so willing to keep the ball in play and be progressive, it's capped off a fine day of action across this Australian Championship in round 2. Kicked off with that big win to West Apia on Friday night and has just proceeded with twists and turns across the weekend. Spirit getting their first taste of the championship on home soil this weekend. Came from behind against Preston last weekend. Have come from behind again today. Can they find the killer blow? Or will Avondale find a stake through their hearts late on here? When it goes to the top of the table, if we sit as we are, Avondale will still sit there on 4 points, but only a single point buffer from Canberra Croatia in second place. Spirit would move a point behind, aside from the capital, ahead of their clash with them at this ground in this same time slot next week. Kavanagh's touch just made it a bit awkward for Cianci, who rides a couple of challenges. Returns the ball to Christian Trzeski. Reed. It's been a game played in fits and starts of intensity. I expect we're about to get one of the higher moments very, very shortly as Carpenter, well, he had Marks worried enough to dive at his near post. Crashing into the side netting. And Avondale have responded, to their credit. That double blow inside 10 minutes after they'd taken the 2-0 lead. First from a fiery volley from Connor Starbo. This afternoon has ended. His replacement, Aidan Kyra, getting the second. His first for Spirit. Kavanagh stayed down after that play. Spirit will try to put the ball out or just hold Avondale off at least so that their young midfield star can receive some attention. Bit of a grimace. Spent a lot of this season out through injury, Corey Kavanagh. Better for having him back. Now the Avondale bench just in conversation about their next move. See George Ott in the background there. Seems the most likely for a team chasing a goal. Kavanagh's just given a thumbs up to the bench, so it looks as though he'll be okay to continue. But Luca Falcone's pondering changes as well. Check of the watch. Michael Conestabo looking very happy with his work, sat there on the bench. And we do get the change. End of the road for Kai Denton. He's got through a lot of running. Not able to break his duck just yet for Spirit, but he'll be happy enough with his contribution. Caleb Jackson-Brown was the hero off the bench last weekend against Preston. At BT corner. Can he make the impact again? Be quite something to turn himself into that sort of super sub. He's known as a workman-like midfielder really for Mount Druitt Town Rangers. That's not to say he didn't have attacking quality. Very much a box-to-box midfielder. He's been started in an attacking role on the right, and his first contribution is to get Carpenter in a little bit of a pickle, at least initially. Eventually saw off the danger. Wellsmore, cool under pressure. Dollar might just be dribbling his team back into trouble. Wellsmore saw off Nicholas, but then played it into the back of Towns, who wasn't expecting the ball. Spirit have numbers forward here. Mustafi. Fancy footwork. How's the delivery? It's not bad. Headed away initially. Jackson-Brown. Chianchi watchful defensively. Wigan! Good save by Mayan. Had to rely on Reed to clean up the straps. Another chance going Spirit's way. Still not able to find the odd goal in 5 though. So we wait on another substitution here. It's not Ott, it's Brandon Lundy. Being readied, another experienced campaigner. Signing on for this championship and taking the position of Wellsmore, so it'll be like for like. One fullback for another. Couple of keen fans. And a second change as well, as Singer Cuba is brought off and George Ott is brought on. Plenty of potential heroes across both teams here being brought on late. Can one of them put their name up in lights for a second week in a row? Off to scorer off the bench against Canberra, Croatia last weekend as well. Kiwi native. Came over to Australia in 2023 after some time with the Wellington Phoenix in the A-League. Hamilton Wanderers Junior. Signed at Avondale off the back of a campaign with St Albans where he scored 6 goals back in 2023. Scored in some big games for them since. This one certainly falls in that category. His first ask is to try and hold up that lofted ball. Marshalled by a combination of young Kaya Williams and the experienced Grant Cornwall. Been right at the centre of things today again, the Spirit skipper. It's forced to go long, which drew a couple of cheers from the travelling Avondale support.
Indeed dropped.
Cairo with Reed firm in his back. Able to work it on for Afuka. Bryce. Towns. Pressure from Afuka too much. Wonder if Avondale need to commit a few more into midfield to try and help them play out from the back if they are going to persist with that strategy. Of course, we'll leave them out of a couple in transition. Fornaroli. Playing it back for Bryce. Carpenter, that cultured left foot for the floated option and not quite able to get on the end of it before Chris Marks swooped. Couple of Avondale fans having some fun with Chris Marks in front of our effects mics. Apologies if you did pick up a little bit of fruity language. All in good spirits. 10 minutes to go. Both teams just seem to be steeling themselves for these closing moments now. I do wonder just how happy both are with a point. Spirit know their two games against Avondale are likely to be their two trickiest. Any points away from home in this competition is a valuable one. Jackson Brown just stepping in a little late on Trajeski, who has taken on more defensive responsibility since Luca Tavir's substitution. Very much the most attacking of the trio in midfield before that substitution. There might be a chance for Ott, who's sprung the offside trap. He's bearing down on Marks. Forces a good save out of the Spirit goalkeeper. It was a tight angle. Watchful goalkeeping. But George Ott showing that he's going to continue to ask questions of the Spirit defence as we close in on this game's finishing stages. Abdullah. Ball was whipped in by Lundy, fairly easily cleared away. Trajeski keeps the attack alive. Abdullah wants it on that left foot. Not quite the venom in the strike to worry Marks. Just having a thought about going down there as well under Abdullah. It's a nice touch to work a yard or so for himself as you're seeing the picture-in-picture there. Just a little off balance though. Former Green Gully man. Takami for Kavanagh. Striding past the challenge of Towns. Good ball wide for Wigan. Takes it on his left, and it's tapped in by Kyra. Substitute hero doubles his money, and Spirit have completed the comeback. What a start to his Spirit life. What an occasion it's become at Christie Park. Another late goal for these supporters who've been blessed with so many over the past 2 or 3 seasons. A new name on the score sheets. But the character of this team continues to show itself when faced with adversity, when written off. They've proved the doubters wrong again. And Mayan wonders what might have been. Twice he's made saves that his defence have not been able to recover. And twice Aidan Kyra has been the Johnny on the spot to write his name in Spirit history, in this new history of the Australian Championship. A standing ovation for one of their own, Corey Kavanagh, playing a big hand in the goal, and that is his last contribution for the day. Ethan De Bono in as his replacement. I said they proved the doubters wrong. They've proved our poll wrong today, Spirit FC, if they can hang on for another 6 minutes or so. Might not be the case. Ott is there, and Williams had to make the intervention. Strike set up for Chris Marks. And his thankful gloves took on the football. Well, we've had just about everything here today, haven't we? A Fornaroli goal. And another come from behind effort from Spirit. A 5th yellow card out for Avondale. Backline just wondering where it's all gone wrong today. They haven't faced as ferocious as a force, as ferocious of a force as this Spirit sides for quite some time. Andre Takami has got a big smile on his face. Sure, he's thinking about a shot, but Spirit certainly aren't going to commit too many forward now. Holding the lead for the first time this afternoon. Decent ball though, Kyra nearly had his hat-trick. Wigan. Squaring up, it's a gorgeous ball of Fuka, stretching with Mayan. Avondale's keeper quick off his line that time. For Jonathan Germano. Was there an adjustment that could have been made? Was there a way to stop this Spirit side today? I tend to think not. Once they had the bit between their teeth, they became irrepressible. Is there one last answer? Spirit leading by the odd goal in 5. They'd love a 4th. De Bono. Just a little foot in there from Towns. Nothing untoward, said the referee. Reed out of defence. Straczewski. His goal gave Avondale a 2-0 lead just after half-time there. Goals coming just 3 minutes apart, either side of the break. Spirit's ability to respond has been nothing short of admirable. We get one last change. Fornaroli, who broke the deadlock, but not able to be the difference maker today, as he was last week. Dylan Jacobi, his replacement, signing from North Sunshine in VPL 1 before the start of this championship. Kyra strong enough to hold off the attention of Lundy, and just to rub further salt into the Avondale wounds, win a free kick as well. Kyra, who had a short stint with Apia Leichhardt, probably been with through his junior years a couple of seasons ago in their premiership winning campaign of 2023. Showed his right up to the level of this championship, and he's looking to play provider. Down flew a Spirit body in the box. Avondale content to play on, chasing an equaliser of their own. Jacobi caught in an offside position. Spirit continuing to write chapters into an increasingly impressive history with this performance here today. One that will be talked about for some time around Macquarie in Sydney's northwest. I don't need to provide the commentary there. The spectators told you what they wanted to see. Chris Marks provided. Nicholas prods it forward. Takumi Afuka. Ethan De Bono. Held up by Carpenter, who manages to see it behind for a goal kick. Avondale need every second available to them now. Avondale still trying to play out. 7 minutes they're going to have to chase this equaliser. Don't know how many around Christie Park have realised that. It's going to be calls for the whistle in a moment. They're going to be waiting a fair while. Avondale have still shown they've got enough about them to try and claim something here. Actually brought down by a rather cynical challenge from Andre Takami. Needs must at this stage. Ott. Carpenter has been tireless down the left. Looking for his match-turning moment. Has the ball nicked off him by Kaya Williams. Perhaps most frighteningly for Avondale, Spirit's record in stoppage time has been so good this season. 8 goals after 90 minutes across the 2025 campaign, 6 of them either proved the difference and gave them victory, or got them a point with a late equaliser. So even if they do get one here, they have to be wary. Gianchi got 1 or 2 of those in his time with Spirit a season ago. Abdallah asking for a shout, which never came. In fact, that was Towns. Did well enough to recover and win the throw. Williams confident in coming out and disrupting the throw. Bryce lofted forwards. Didn't have too many deeper options, and De Bono's away. Only really Kyra inside him. Now there's more joining in Wigan. De Bono might look to do it all himself. Wigan, brilliant little piece of skill. Just needed De Bono to continue his run, which he'd halted. And they've got to make sure they're not short at the back. Towns cut off firmly by Simon Nicholas. Trachevsky wins the ball back, leaving Takami in a heap. Spirit defending with 10. Carpenter. He's trying to find his way through a forest of legs, and Jackson Brown, goal scorer last week, late on, happy to be defensive hero this time. And there's a couple of Spirit players down on the turf. We saw Takami brought down in that challenge a little bit earlier in play. Takumi Afuka also down. And he is the first priority of physio Dario Rossi. See this last moment, a challenge from Takami. Actually lost his own footing, really. It wasn't the challenge of Trzeski whatsoever. Carpenter was keen to try and make something of it, not quite able to finish things off. It's a little bit of pickle juice or just an energy gel for Andre Takami. It's going to extend this injury time period even further, though. Already due 7 minutes. Might be getting into triple figures by the end of the day. Kami has been allowed to stay on the field of play though. So Spirit to their full complement. Fuka back at his feet as well. Maybe caught out by something as simple as a long throw. Carpenter's making a nuisance of himself, a little overzealous in his attempts to win the ball back. And Wigan can just catch his breath. So critical early in an attacking sense. It's been his tracking back that's been most impressive about his performance in the second half of this game. The attacking responsibilities left to others. The Spirit throw men forwards. Avondale fans trying to give their team one last wind. Mustafi. Been near faultless. Love to finish with a goal. Stings the palms of Mayan. Again, Kyra's there from the rebound. Afuka off the line. Heroic stuff from Bryce. A captain's knock, a captain's block indeed. Spirit looked to put the cherry on top. Wasn't the most convincing piece of goalkeeping. And Afuka with gorgeous technique, only denied by Avondale's skipper. But the ball's down the wrong end for the visitors now. Might be as good as a goal to spirit that passage of play. Won't be too keen to hoist it into the box this time. The big frame of Aidan Kyra's just going to try and keep it in that corner. Avondale have done well to win the ball back. Towns, lovely turn, evaded the challenge as well. Well read by Williams, hoisted high rather than long by Cornwall. Lundy, there's a short option in Shanchi. See the Avondale players almost lining up, expecting a ball over the top. Well, Shanchi dances around trying to find gaps between defence and midfield. He's done it nicely. Ball rolled on for Trajeski. One more pass and they might be in! And it's stuck in on the rebound by Abdullah! Or was it Gianchi on his return? Avondale give Spirit a taste of their own medicine and find the last minute equaliser. An emotional return home. They worked it just well enough. Jacobi forcing the save, and it was Abdullah who stuck it home. His ball created the first. His name is on the score sheet for the second. His first goal for Heidelberg, a precious one indeed, or for Avondale even. Spirit thought they'd completed the comeback, but this Avondale team are made of sterner stuff than that. Could Kyra provide us even more late drama? Remember, we're expecting a couple more minutes than the allotted 7. Big appeal for a handball from a section of the Spirit support. Certainly De Bono thought there might have been an arm in there as well. Pondering over it was Trajeski. Allowed Jackson Brown in. Pass took Afuka wide. And he's won the free kick. Trajeski head in hands. Can't quite believe it. We couldn't have more late drama, could we? This game was 0-0 at half-time. Was supposed to be before Fornaroli's penalty to make it 1-0. Basically the last kick before the whistle. Spirit have made a habit of this. Could they go and win it again? Takami front post. Enough Avondale bodies there to clear. Cornwall's offside, so leaves it for Jackson Brown. Dangerous ball. A couple of Avondale players converge together. And Jock Quartermain brings a quite brilliant game to a close. Both teams had periods where they thought they'd won it. Avondale leading 2-0 after Christian Trzaskowski's goal just after the break and Bruno Fornaroli's penalty just prior to half-time. But then they were stung by a Spirit onslaught. Michael Conestabbo opening the scoring with a thumping volley. The first 2 goals in his new colours for Aidan Kyra. And then Amir Abdallah, the hero for Avondale late, claiming back a point after thinking they'd lost all 3. Well, if that's what the first 2 weeks have thrown up, imagine what the rest of the competition is due to give us. It's been a pleasure to bring you all the action from this Group C encounter from Christie Park. And it has finished Spirit 3, Avondale 3. Let's have a look at what was a crazy, crazy game, particularly in the second half. We'll start with Christian Trzaskowski's finish, which gave Avondale the 2-goal lead. Fornaroli's penalty before that gave him 2-2 for his new club. A smart finish through the legs of Chris Marks. It's a flat-footed Spirit defence. There's a chance for a third that came across from Abdallah. And then Spirit responded. How about this for a strike from Michael Conestabbo? Belted past Mayan from Takami's initial ball, which was cleared by Matty Reid. Returned with interest and some. Spirit got the equaliser 10 minutes later through the substitute, Aidan Kyra, who replaced Conestabbo. Quickest to the rebound after Mayan's save with his feet from Takami's initial effort. The Spirit midfielder having a big impact in creating both of the host's first 2 goals. And then Kyra added a second, but not before Avondale had added a decent chance of their own. Carpenter was lively down the left flank for them from fullback all game, but Chianchi playing himself into some danger. Gave Spirit an opportunity there. And then George Ott, straight off the bench, had sprung the offside trap. Not able to beat Chris Marks on that tight angle. Abdallah forcing another save when getting in on that left foot. His moment was still to come after Aidan Kyra had given Spirit the lead. Wigan's shot only parried into the path of Spirit's new striker. Celebration allayed. The Spirit might have gone on to make it 4 when Mustafi's effort was only palmed into the path of Kyra, who couldn't finish his hat-trick. But how important would that block from Aidan Bryce on the line prove to be for Avondale when they went down the other end and got a 97th minute equaliser through Amir Abdallah, signing between the ends of the NPL season and the start of this Australian Championship. So something to take home for the Avengers to Avenger Park. A performance which promised more, but ended pretty well with the points. Spirit will be happy with theirs as well. It sits them 3rd in the group after the end of today's action, given Canberra Croatia's upset win over Preston. See the statistics, it was a much more open second half, both totting up double-digit efforts on target. The fouls came as well. Those 10 Avondale free kicks given away, coupled with 4 bookings. So that wraps up all the action, and there you can see the other results from this afternoon. Bayswater City getting a very crucial win at home over Metro Stars to make them 2 from 2 in terms of results after claiming a precious point late against Sydney United away from home last weekend. South Melbourne have a perfect record after their 2-0 defeat of Moreton City Excelsior. And so this is how the group looks. All 4 groups, in fact. Group A with South Melbourne on top in pole position to progress after Broadmeadows' win over Sydney Olympic earlier today hoisted them into the quarter-final qualification positions, closely followed by Moreton City. In Group B, Heidelberg at top, followed by Marconi and the Wollongong Wolves, who meet next weekend at Marconi Stadium. In Group C, Avondale sit top after that point was saved here. Spirit happy enough with second, knowing that they get to face Canberra, Croatia at home next weekend. And on the evidence of that performance, they're going to be hard to beat. Preston with it all to do, down the bottom without a win in their first two games, while West Sarpia sit prettiest in Group D after going 2 from 2. Bayswater getting that crucial point at Sydney United, which sits them just above their Sydney opposition at the end of round 2. Well, it's been very enjoyable having your company this afternoon. What turned into a classic encounter at Christie Park, a 2-0 lead to Avondale, righted by Spirit, who led 3-2 themselves before Amir Abdullah wrote his name into the young history of the Australian Championship. My name's Alex Molchanov for all the team at Double Take and SBS. It's been a pleasure to have your company on this Sunday afternoon. Do join us again next Friday night when it all gets going again in round 3. Big names, new stories, big histories. It's all part of the Australian Championship. Signing off for now from Christie Park. Goodbye.